Hey, greetings, Gary with Let It Be RV again. I wanted to introduce one of my best friends. We've been friends for 50 years. You probably have seen him on a number of videos that we've been doing about Starbase. SpaceX, Starbase too. But we went to Starbase about 6 times. Dan came all the way down from Nome to see a launch. And unfortunately is leaving tomorrow to get back to Nome because it's about 1 degree there, and his new house plumbing is frozen up. And so Dan, how's your family doing?
Oh, my family's getting by, you know. Nome has got about 1 hour of daylight a day this time of year. This is the winter solstice right now, and Christmas is upon us. Merry Christmas to you all. And you know, they just need some help from down here, so I'm going to head back up. We didn't catch the launch. The launch will come in due time, waiting kind of on the FAA licensing, and there were 75 different tasks that they had to accomplish for the FAA in order to get that license. So it might be a while before they're able to do that. In the meantime, Elon Musk and SpaceX don't stand on their thumbs. They get things done, so they're accomplishing a lot.
So Dan, I understand that you are married to a Filipino gal and you have some property still in the Philippines. And at one point you used to go back and forth gold mining between Nome and the Philippines. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, of course, the Philippines has some restrictions involving the COVID still, which I'd like to see go away before I go back to the Philippines. And of course, my wife, being a Filipina, had to spend some time on American soil in order to get her U.S. passport and her citizenship. And of course, it bugs me that here in Texas, there's thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of people just jumping the border. So not to get too political about it, having immigrated my wife, it certainly works against me, against my better judgment, to see people walking in unvetted. So that's enough about that. But
so
I work up in Nome in the gold fields, and some of my associates up there you may have seen on Bering Sea Gold, which is a very popular show. In fact, when it first aired 11 years ago, it was the highest viewership of any premiere in Discovery history. So they came back up and offered $1 million contracts to these actors, and you know, it's been a lot of fun. But you have never seen me on that show that I'm aware of. I never signed a contract. But yeah, there's gold up there. You have to work really hard for it. It's I refer to it as the hardest easy money you'll never make.
Yeah.
But gold is a store of value, and it's something that I think everyone should have in their portfolio, maybe 10 to 15% precious metals.
So Dan, do you plan on retiring either in Texas, because he's going to be applying for a job at SpaceX, like I am? We're going to see what happens. We're kind of a couple of old timers, but we always have high aspirations of our lives. We've done a lot of things together, and we've done a lot of great things together. Failed and base and abound, as Scripture would say. So, Dan, you got property in the Philippines.
My wife owns the property technically, but yes, we do have property there. We have a little waterfront home there, similar to some of these, only not quite as fancy. But of course, it's the typhoon belt. That's the Philippines is the buckle of the typhoon belt, I call it. More typhoons every year there than anywhere on the planet. And so it's pretty rough weather at times, but the Filipinos are very resilient people, some of the happiest people you'll ever met. We call it the land of smiles.
I agree, yeah. And Dan, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming down, and we certainly had an adventure. It's not the first adventure we've ever had together, but I've really appreciated it. I'm actually sad to see you leave, and I'm sad that we didn't actually get to see a launch, but so be it, so be it. So I want to say goodbye, and Dan, what am I going to say?
Adios.
Subscribe to my site.
Subscribe and click that like button and click that bell for notifications. It really helps the algorithm. All right.
Adios.
Adios, people.